One of my favorite unexplored eras of the FNAF timeline is the Fredbear's Family Diner era, and subsequently 1983. There are many interpretations of this era in fanworks, but by far one of my favorites is an undeniably canon FNAF timeline. But Forgotten At Fredbear's is a close second. This game aims to fill in some of the lore gaps we have in the series while introducing its own interesting conflicts and changing some stuff timeline-wise. It doesn't really work as a headcanon canon type of thing because of these changes, but it's still a great piece of media nonetheless. Even before you begin the game, there's a quick synopsis of the premise on the Game Jolt page, detailing most of the usual stuff in fan games, but also giving some slight context as to who you're playing as. You are John Hudson, a guy who was recently laid off and is searching for work. After hearing about a job offer at Fredbear's Family Diner, you decide to take the job. The game begins with a cutscene between John and William Afton, who is, for some inexplicable reason, doing the Germa sus face. This cutscene is basically just vague exposition as to why you're working there. It then transitions into a scene of Henry Emily saying he knows what William did and vows to take revenge on him, setting up the premise for the game. From there, you transition to a cutscene that is essentially just an extended version of the security puppet minigame from FNAF 6, essentially just detailing how Charlie became the puppet. This also takes place from the perspective of the crying child, which I don't believe it was in FNAF 6, but I could be wrong about that. But they also dub him Evan in this game, which is probably because a bulk of the game was developed before Hyperdroid's theory. After this minigame, you begin Night 1. This night functions as an introduction to the game's base mechanics with only two animatronics, Spring Bonnie and the Puppet. Spring Bonnie will occasionally come to your door, and when he does, you have to aggressively slam the door via a QuickTime event. The Puppet works more like Springtrap in FNAF 3, that being used in audio lore in an adjacent room to get the puppet to go there. Interestingly though, this game has no power system, meaning instead of worrying about using the power on the camera, it's actually because the music box in each room is so limited, meaning you can only keep the puppet in one room for so long. In the early nights, the puppet doesn't move enough for this to matter, but it gets a lot more chaotic as time goes on. Along with this, there's also a phone call from two night guards instead of the usual one, both named Joe. One is named Joe A and one Joe M. I'm not exactly sure what that's supposed to mean, but you know, very creative names. This phone call serves to give you both the base mechanics of the game and the background that the animatronics mysteriously started acting up after Henry's daughter disappeared. Interestingly, they also tell you that William is supposed to be the one on the night shift, but he secretly dumped it on you without telling Henry. Another interesting fact about this game is that it's only from 11 to 3 AM, so it's only 4 hours. I assume the hours are stretched out because each of them are a minute, and I don't think the original FNAF games were like that, but it's still pretty short for a night. After each night, you're given a different minigame task. The first one's a vent repair task. In this task, you'll have to repair each vent all the while Balloon Boy and Mangle are after you. Balloon Boy will laugh into a vent and you have to hit him with your flashlight. But Mangle will only come out of one vent, and you have to close it, or else he'll get you. She's not too much of a threat, but if you time it wrong, he can attack you while Balloon Boy is in another vent, completely screwing you over. Suffice to say, it's a difficult minigame. I find it to be a bit too tedious for my liking, but it's not awful, just too long for what it is. After completing that minigame, you get a cutscene confirming that it indeed was Henry who tampered with the animatronics to make them dangerous, and from there, you transition back into the night. Before we go to the next night, make sure to like this video if you've enjoyed it so far, and subscribe if you want to see more. Night 2 begins with a phone call detailing the new animatronic for the night, Balloon Boy. He will crawl into the vents in your roof, and you've got to quickly click on them to make him return. The game tells you to watch the cameras, but he's so easy to counter that all you really need to do is watch out for his audio cues. If not, he'll jump scare you. Another important thing to note is that in this night, one of the Joes mentions a basement Henry seems to be residing in or have a secret down there. After this night, you do another minigame, this time being an animatronic repair minigame similar to the ones in Help Wanted. It begins with a face repair section where you take off his face, swap his eyes, and then put the faceplate back on, and then after that, you go to his back and do literally just the Among Us wire task. The final one is scanning him. You have to stop when he's shaking and the lights start flashing, and you have to start again when he slows down and just stops moving. After that, you get another 8-bit minigame where you play as Evan, though this time instead of being at Fredbear's, you're home. and the Fredbear plush also speaks to you, basically just reinforcing your fear into William. There's not too much about this. Once that's over, night 3 begins. The phone call explains that Foxy is now active. Occasionally, he'll move inside the curtains. When that happens, you'll need to close them. Be careful though, as if you keep them closed for too long, he'll get angry and come out of the area anyway, and you can't do anything against that. Foxy's the animatronic I died to by far the most in this game. Joe A, one of the phone guys, also starts talking about an experiment of Henry's, something about remotely controlling the animatronics. Joe M starts freaking out and yelling at him because of that. He also mentions ending up like the others, implying that previous night guards were killed for learning too much. Night 3 is when the game absolutely ramps up in difficulty. It's still not that hard, but it's super fun and makes for a great challenge. After this night, you transition into another post-shift minigame. In this minigame, you're in a storage closet with a door in front of you. Your goal is to take supplies outside of the door and put them in the closet. Unfortunately, every time you open the door and move things, you make noise. Occasionally, Spring Bonnie or Fredbear will show up. When Bonnie shows up, just flash your light in his face for a few seconds and it'll go away. But when Fredbear shows up, you've got to turn off the closet light and stand completely still. I found this minigame to be pretty tedious, especially with Fredbear, so I'm not a huge fan of it. It was definitely not as quite as difficult or annoying as the vent one, but it definitely also wasn't nearly as fun. It was probably my least favorite minigame. After that, there's a cutscene of William and Evan heading to Fredbear's family diner, which I believe is for his birthday party. Once that cutscene ends, night 4 starts. In this night, only Joe M is on the phone, as, according to Joe M, we will not be hearing from Joe A anymore, which is very ominous. The final animatronic, Fredbear, is now active. He will now come to the window outside your office and you have to stare him down like I stared on a Big Mac from Burger King. After that, he'll go away. This night is the real difficulty jump, mostly coming down to handling Foxy and the puppet, as the other animatronics serve more as a distraction to handling them, as those two are the most dangerous. Once you finally complete this night after taking so many tries because of Foxy, you go to a minigame. In this minigame, you're behind a prize counter directly in front of the puppet. You get a phone call from Joe A, explaining that something bad has probably happened to him and that this is pre-recorded. He explains that the puppet knows things people want buried, so you have to interrogate them all the while Foxy is slowly creeping behind you. Whenever Foxy starts shaking, you'll need to use the spring lock resetting machine, or I think it's a spring lock starting machine, that's what they call it. It just basically fixes them. You must also keep the puppet calm while playing their lullaby, as she will attack you if not. The puppet mostly just gives slightly more exposition about what's been going on the entire game, which I've already factored into my explanations, but there's one key addition I did not mention, and that is related to the basement Henry works in. The puppet mentions hearing metal breathing from that room, but she's not fully aware as to what it is. Once you complete this minigame, Night 5 begins. This night has no new animatronics, and begins with no phone call, just complete silence. What it does have is extremely difficult gameplay as it ramps up very fast and every animatronic is on you. I died so many times to Foxy. It's actually insane. I never died to Balloon Boy a single time, but I died to Foxy, I think, every night except for one where it was the puppet. Alright, now once you've completed the night, a cutscene begins. John opens the basement. After that, you begin the true final night.
These machines were meant to be the future, William. The start of something new. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. A place where children can laugh again. A place where you and I could have built something good.
The basement. In this night, you must shut down 4 animatronics: Freddy, Chica, Foxy, and Bonnie. Each of them has their own room you must complete, and they have their own mechanic in this room. In Freddy's room, you must slowly try and fill up this generator by holding down a lever, but be careful. When the light flickers, Freddy will appear and you'll have to stare him down to get him to go away. After completing Freddy's minigame, you have to put in a code in the... not how you say code. You have to put in a code in the starting room to shut him down. The animatronics will peek out of their rooms to attack you, so you have to hide under your desk. Once you shut down Freddy, you get another dialogue cutscene from Henry and a checkpoint in case you die. In Bonnie's room, you have to cut a specific wire based on what symbol a screen shows. If you cut the wrong wire, you'll be jump scared. You'll also be jump scared if Bonnie appears and you don't flash your light on her. After that, you must shut him down with a different code, giving even more dialogue. In Foxy's room, you have to crank a lever all the while keeping Foxy's curtains from opening, and then shut him down. The final animatronic, Chica, is probably the most interesting out of the bunch. You have to close the door on her while turning on switches whenever they light up. Once you've completed all of these animatronics, the end of the game begins. First of all, unfortunately, you are aggressively stabbed 87 times by evil British Germa. The game then transitions into an 8-bit minigame where Evan is being bullied by the masked kids from FNAF 4. Henry then appears and confronts William while William is trying to stop them. William admits that the reason he did everything was basically just jealousy and a skill issue. So basically he's just a menace because he's mad. It's not like the love of the game or immortality like in the original games. William then hears Evan yelling, so he goes out to help him. When he goes out, he sees that Evan is currently about to get Bite of 83'd. Unfortunately, Henry finds the spring lock activator from the Foxy minigame and triggers it, resulting in both the Bite of 83 and William's spring locking, making for a very interesting divergence from the canon FNAF timeline. Once this cutscene ends, you're presented with the FNAF 4 box. In the bad ending, this box cannot be opened, but if you picked up a bunch of random trinkets in different sections of the game, you can get the good ending. This ending essentially amounts to the box having the
Fredbear blush,
and Michael goes on a monologue, ending with the famous line, "I will put you back together," putting a close on this phenomenal FNAF fan game. Overall, I find this game to be a great fill-in for 1983, while also introducing its own interesting changes, like having the spring lock happen because of Henry. The story itself was really cool, but what stood out even more was the gameplay. I enjoy power-based systems, but I actually found the resource management being mostly built around the music box and your overall timing to be significantly more enjoyable than most power-based systems. Though this really does depend on the mechanics. This game in specific just happened to not really need a power system to be good. I found a few of the post-shift minigames to be pretty tedious and annoying, but as an overall concept, they were pretty good. The final section was honestly just really easy though. Most of the minigames really just amounted to filling a bar until full, which isn't too difficult. At the same time, it would have been horrendous without checkpoints because, like I said, the minigames are essentially filling a bar until full. Honestly, I think I'd give this game a solid 7.5 or 8 out of 10. This is definitely worth a play, as it's completely free, and I didn't go super in-depth to a lot of the dialogue specifically so you guys could enjoy it on your own, as the game's lore is definitely more complex than I presented, but I wanted to go pretty simple as to be able to condense this into a relatively short video, as this is still by far my longest. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and consume liquid air.